Hello and welcome to the interview here on France 24. Our guest today is Iryna Venediktova. She's the General Prosecutor of Ukraine. She's joining us from the capital, Kiev. Thank you very much for being with us.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, dear friends, that you are having me on your platform.
The Russian military operation has begun in the east of your country in Donbass. After what we've discovered around Kiev, especially in Bucha, do you think that we will discover similar crimes in places like Mariupol or in the Donbass?
If we speak about Mariupol, Mariupol is situated in Donbass region. I expect that it will be in more and more size, bigger and more terrible. I understand this because now we have numbers of people who are dead from civilians, children dead. It's without Mariupol. We don't understand real situation of what is going on inside. Actually, that's why I understand when we deoccupy Mariupol, we will see hugest, massive, terrible things. And actually, it will not be only war crimes or crimes against humanity. I actually expect evidences about genocide because they departed kids from Mariupol to Russian Federation, and of course we should check it everything by our investigation mechanism. From other side, we have now the situation very hot, not only in the Donbass and Lugansk region. For example, Mykolaiv, for example, Kharkiv, they are still under shelling, they are still under bombing. That's why all eastern part of Ukraine now in very dangerous situation.
Right. There are reports, I talked to your foreign minister, and he confirmed that there are reports that Russia has brought in Mariupol mobile crematorium, possibly to hide the evidence that was found in Bucha, in Borodyanka. Is this also what you're hearing from your reports from the ground?
It's absolutely possible. I have the same operative information that say use these crematories, but actually the number of victims will be so huge that again, maybe they do it now, just now they do it, but again, we will find a lot of other huge number of victims.
Right. You talked about people who are disappeared. Your ambassador to the UN said that more than 500,000 Ukrainians have been forcefully transferred to Russia, including over 120,000 children. Is this also the figure you have?
We have these figures. So we have, again, we use it like operative information because I'm prosecutor. I can't give the numbers only after when we have done all investigations mechanisms. But now what we have these territories under fighting. Most part of them are occupied. That's why we can't do our job on the ground. But we understand that huge numbers of people are departed from Ukraine to the territory of Russian Federation. A lot of kids, and actually we don't know what is now happened with these children, and this is a huge problem. Of course, we understand that we can start to speak about prosecution or even about normal investigations when we will be on the territory. We need to victory in this war, and then of course, we start to punish people who are guilty in this.
Right. The parts where you can go are the parts around Kiev, especially, obviously, Bucha. I mentioned Borodyanka. How many dead people have you been able to find, identify, and including children as well? What is the latest figure?
Latest figures, it was 1,500 dead civilians, actually. The number of kids in this statistic I should check right now, but we have a lot of other territories in Kiev region which are still mined. That's why we don't give you even correct number in Kiev region, which are now after occupation, because we can't demine all territories of our Kiev region, and we're still in the process.
Right. What about sexual crimes? There have been reports that they took place in Bucha, maybe in other places. What have you found?
Uh, Unfortunately, they took places in all occupied territory. The territories which are now under occupation, we have concrete victims and we can speak with them. But you know that people are still in so stress that they are not ready to speak. From other side, we have a lot of operative information from priests, from mayors, from journalists on the ground that these sexual crimes were not only with women, actually with men too, with children, and even we have the fact of sexual crimes against old women. That's why after we, again, I want to say about this, when we finish the war, when we victor in this war, we will have a huge number of such sexual crimes. It's a normal situation for all countries which were in war, on all parts of planet. At first, state should win, then state should create safety circumstances for victims. They need to start to speak, and after that, law enforcement agency have a lot of number of such victims. After that, they come to us and they possible to speak with us.
How many investigations have you opened since the beginning of the war?
Oh, it's now a huge number, total number only about war crimes and crimes which are connected. It's more than 10,000, more than 7,000 investigations about war crimes and more than 3,000 about crimes which are connected to war crimes. It's a huge number of investigations. And unfortunately, again, every day we have new and new facts to start an investigations. For example, Kharkiv region today, the night, we have new facts of bombing civilian objects and to injure civilian people. Every 2 hours, we new facts to start an investigation.
Right. Who are you targeting? Is it like just soldiers or maybe mercenaries or higher level?
It's a very good question. If we can say that, target all clients, all people who have done war crimes here in Ukraine. Now we have people who are war prisoners here in Ukraine, and they are not combatant, honorary combatant who just do their military job. They or killed civilians, or they bombed, understandably, civilian object, or they took property of civilians, or they do other things. It's actually people who committed war crimes. From other side, we have huge case. It's our anchor case about aggression. Russian Federation against Ukrainian state. And in this case, we have now near 600 suspects. It is high level of politicians from Russian Federation, top level of militaries, top level of propaganda agents. For example, Minister of Defense Shoigu, for example, Interior Ministry Kolokoltsev and others. And I understand that this number of these suspects who should be responsible for aggression in Ukraine, it will be near 1,000.
This includes Vladimir Putin himself?
Vladimir Putin is the most influential person in Russian Federation, and of course he is responsible for everything what is doing from the name of Russian Federation. But by Ukrainian legislation, which has implementation of national legislation, humanitarian law, international law, presidents, foreign ministries, and prime ministers in national legislation have immunity.
Right.
That's why I want to work very closely and I'm very open to cooperation with the prosecutor of International Criminal Court to work with him because international platforms don't have such immunities.
Right. But you would like these cases to be prosecuted in your country or at the ICC, which you just mentioned, or other countries?
We are ready to cooperate with other states. Actually, Ukraine and plus 13 states started their own investigations about war crimes in Ukraine. From other side, we have joint investigation team with Poland and Lithuania on the platform of Eurojust. We can do this common job about crimes of aggression too. For me, as a Ukrainian Prosecutor General, it's very important to have Ukrainian decisions from Ukrainian courts named by Ukraine. I love my country. I trust in it, in her, and of course, I want to do everything to have and to be successful on this platform. But from other side, I'm absolutely open to cooperation with other prosecutors from other international states.
Right. Is genocide happening in Ukraine? There was a dispute between the French and the Ukrainian president. The French president said he didn't want to use that word. Your president said he was hurt. From your standpoint, from a legal standpoint, is it reaching the threshold of a genocide?
We started the case about genocide from the first days of war. We started to prosecute people who made calls about genocide. Actually, it's concrete facts that Russian propagandists wrote the books about denazification of Ukraine, and they started to call about such genocide against Ukrainian people. From other side, President Zelensky is a leader of our nation. He is a leader of our state, and he understands very well that Russian Federation, Russian military troops now want to destroy not only our state as a state, they want to kill Ukrainians, actually. They want to make our nation to be like just a sound or like a history. That's why President Zelensky mentioned absolutely right thing as a president, as a leader of nation, as a leader of state. I'm prosecutor, that's why I do everything, and I find all evidences about this huge crime, and after that I will give you my conclusions.
Okay, Iryna Venediktova, I want to thank you very much for appearing here on the France 24 interview from Kiev, and thank you all for watching it.
France 24, liberté, égalité, actualité.